well, first of all, it's a founder, partner, CEOs, executives. It is hard, super ass hard to run a business on a regular day in a regular year.
Yeah.
Now you got to be concerned about COVID. Okay. Masks, vaccinations, opinions. Yeah. What am I going to force people to do? Should I do this? Should I do that? You got all this stuff coming down. And I've talked to lots of CEOs. We interview executives on the podcast all the time. And I can feel them trying to decide, right? They're almost like kind of standing on the sidelines, and they're watching and they're listening, and okay, the Biden said this, and then the Supreme Court said that, and then this, and then that, and then I heard this, and then I heard that, and I see CEOs kind of like, oh shit, okay, what do we do here? And I see some of them struggling, and I've talked to a lot of them, and now they're at a point more often than not. Now I hear them say, they'll say something like, man, I'm just trying to run my business. Yeah. I'm just trying to. What are your thoughts? So what have you done with COVID, masks, and vaccinations at Human Design? What do you plan on doing? Do you want to touch on that or no?
Yeah, we can. It's interesting timing. I'm looking at the clock. It's January 27th.
January 27th, 2022 for all the listeners while we're recording this. So it's a different answer every time I ask this question over the last 12 months when I get somebody on, because things changing so fast. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the reason why it's interesting timing is that starting next Monday, the 2nd, we're going to move to a hybrid approach where we'll have employees in the office 3 days a week.
Okay.
And, so we've had to really think through this and wrestle with this, because everybody has an opinion, and everybody's incredibly opinionated, whether you're an employee or whether you're an owner.
Yeah.
And again, it feels like those opinions are always very binary. It's like, hey, the new way of working is 100% remote. Businesses that don't do that, they're going to die. And you have other people that are like, no, that's not true. We're going to bring everybody back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we do our business. My approach, and Matt, my co-founder's approach, is, and especially mine, I'll speak for me. I don't want to speak for Matt here, but we're pretty aligned on this. But my approach is, as long as we're not doing something that's unethical or immoral or overtly hurting people, then we need to be able to make the decisions to run our business in the way that our business needs to run, so that we can keep the lights on, so we can pay our employees their raises, so we can pay their benefits, that we can run the business. So what I find a little discouraging and disheartening is the amount of scrutiny and judgment that comes on a business owner from everybody about how you're running your business. You should let your employees work remote 100% of the time. You should give them this, you should give them that. At the end of the day, what that does is it causes a lack of trust throughout the entire system. And small businesses, as you know, depend on a high level of trust, and you have to have a high trust environment. So your employees have to trust the leadership team that we're not doing this just to put butts in the seats and make sure that you guys are here, and that we're solving the problem or the question of lack of trust that we don't think you're doing your work. But you have to trust us that for the type of business that we do, it is predicated on FaceTime. As a creative agency, we need unplanned collisions. We need unplanned collaboration. We need the ability, you can't tell, but there's a whiteboard wall behind me. We need the ability to sketch things out and draw the energy off of each other, because as human beings, we literally have energy coursing through our spinal cord. It's proven. We literally, as human beings, have energy in our body that you can feel and you can sense.
Yes.
And when you're creating something and you're trying to find that lightning in a bottle, that spark, and you're a creative director, and you're a copywriter, and you're a design director, and you're a designer, and you're a filmmaker, and you're a project manager, and you're an account person, we found that magic happens with FaceTime and in the same room. Oh yeah, 100%. What about this? What about that? Et cetera. When you don't have that, you have this natural bifurcation where the people that aren't in the room, inevitably, it's hard to plug in. It's hard to read body language. It's hard to interject. Say, hey, can I say something? What if we did? Or I have to leave early because I got to go pick up my laundry or whatever, or hey guys, I got a meeting in 10 minutes, I got to sign off. And it puts these really weird stresses in the system from an inefficient standpoint, where now we have to catch those people up. So maybe the last 2 minutes of the meeting, a huge decision was made.
Right.
And then someone in Slack is like, wait, we never talked about that. Why,
Mm-hmm.
who made the decision? It's like, oh, it was in the meeting that you weren't in, or it was when we were walking to our desks in the hallway and someone said something. We ended up extending the meeting for 10 minutes. And now we have to go back and like, okay, who didn't hear that? We got to catch them up.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it's my belief is just trust the leadership that in order to run the business efficiently and effectively, so that we can still do what makes you guys happy, which is have your paycheck auto deposited into your bank account every 2 weeks. And we know that that's important for you. Trust that we're making decisions to run our business most effectively so that we can do that.
Good.
And the fallout, the positive fallout, is that we can give you guys raises. We can give you guys benefits. We can hire, we can open up headcount. So you have to trust, and I'm not at this point even talking about human design, but that trust has to be there. Mm-hmm. That it's not just like, oh, you're old school, you just want us in. And on the flip side, if a business doesn't need people to come in, don't ask them to come in. Yeah. Let them work remote. Let them work 100% remote. It's not a one size fits all. And I think right now, a lot of thought leaders and talking heads are trying to really be provocative and be like, the future of work equals X. And they're trying to like find the one size fits all so they can write blog posts about it. They could be seen as a thought leader, forward thinking. For me, I'm like, just let common sense prevail. If your business is predicated on human beings being in the same environment, then set up an environment that is safe. Like human design, we have cleaning crew come through twice a day, wipe down all the door handles, wipe down anything that's really, we're in a zero net building as well with proper airflow. So it's a long-winded answer, but I think it's just really hard to run a business because you're scrutinized for everything. Everybody has outlets, whether it's Fishbowl, whether it's Glassdoor, and the employees that are not happy are the ones that are going to be squeaky. The ones that are happy, they're usually not talking.
That's a good point.
And as a business owner, as a CEO, it's really, I don't know about you, but it's really the big challenge is how do you move forward with courage and without fear that like, okay, if these two employees that are like, I think we're old school, why can't we do X, Y, Z? And if you're like, that's just the way we're not running our business. It's not anything personal for you, but the way we're running our business, you're just going to have to move forward with conviction and courage that even if they go torpedo you, that's their prerogative.
Yep.
And I think the worst way you could do it as a business, and this is the last thing I'll say, I'll stick the landing. The worst thing you could do as a business is be wishy-washy on it and be like, well, we may do this, we may do that. It may be dependent on the team. So this team is going to be 100% remote. This team's going to be required to come in 2 days a week. This team's you create these weird natural divisions where it's like, okay, so my team, we have to get in the car and commute for an hour and a half, but that team doesn't. And you have to like have a constitution and a conviction as a business. And then you have to articulate that to your employees. And then you have to put it into practice and then just go with it and then test it and measure it. And then maybe change it 6 months down the road or 3 months down the road if it's not working. But so many leaders right now are like, I don't know, what's the market saying? What's Google doing? What's Apple doing? Should we open back up? And that lack of conviction and stress can be felt by your employees.
You're right.
And they don't have a say in the matter. So if there's this abstract stress at the leadership level that we don't really know what we're doing, imagine what your employees are thinking. Like, so
couldn't agree more.